So here's a quick video on assembling the wireless Model D. So I've laid out everything you need. You don't need much. Got the 3D printed base, already put the feet on it. i305 PCB in the lens. I have the on-off switch off right now because it'll fall off easily. We'll put that on later. As far as the actual Model D goes, I made a few cuts. I don't know that these top ones are necessary under here, but I cut off right here, cut the DPI switch down, and the most important cuts are going to be back here on these screw holes, or rather what we're using is the screw holes. I took about 1 mil off of each, 1 millimeter, it might have been 2, I'm not 100% sure. See if I can get that to focus. Doesn't look like it wants to. But err on the side of, less. So take off like 1 millimeter, then another millimeter, and then you're good to go. Otherwise, you don't really have to make any other cuts. So decide whichever scroll wheel you want to use. If you use the Model D scroll wheel, you'll have to print this little piece that goes on the side, because otherwise when you push down the button, it won't actuate. Like it won't click this switch because it won't reach, that green one there. I mean, I'm not a big fan of how this works, but I mean, it's pretty much the only way to make the original scroll wheel work. I would probably sand this a little bit to make it smooth. And if for whatever reason, it's like just slightly too short or something, I would reprint it at like, I don't know, 105% height or something like that. Just, give it just a little more height and then sand it down. So, I don't know, grab whichever. I'll grab the Model D scroll wheel. Put the encoder. Make sure it spins. Obviously shouldn't have any issue there. Now flip it over, grab that on-off switch. I don't even really use an on-off switch. I just always have a screwdriver by, so I just flick it, but, people want an on-off switch, obviously, so. It's a little annoying to line up. And once you have it on, I would keep the PCB upside down because it's way too hard to have it stick. I'll flip it over and it'll probably stay. With any amount of force, it'll fall off, see? So I keep the PCB upside down. So now just take the base plate, leave that upside down for a second, see it fell off again. So I would get used to how this aligns before you put the PCB on, just in case. You're gonna want to push down at the front, like so. Like don't just put it straight down, that's not what we're doing. Get a bit of downward force at the front and then pull it back so the clips line up. And this lighting's kind of ass. What? You can see some clips on the left here. Got one there, one above it. I've also got one on the right. Looking at, I want to say here, yeah. So those are essentially what you're aiming for. I'm gonna line those up. So you can see it's flush right now. This angle is probably a little better. And that's how it's gonna look. Oh yeah, as far as cuts go, you're gonna want to cut some of the front off here if you want to be able to charge it without popping the top. It's just how it is. There's no way I can change the print down here because the way the PCB sits, it's still high enough that it messes with, or it intersects, I guess, with the Model D area up here. Another note on alignment here at the back, pull that off, is there's a hole. I don't know how well this is going to show. There's a hole by my index finger here. I'm moving it. And that's where this back middle spike aligns, index finger here. So that's how you align it. But anyways, take the PCB, keep it upside down so that, oh yeah, it fell, didn't it? There we go, the tape. Okay, leave the tape on the PCB, by the way, that's there by default. And just add that in for style. So put that on-off switch on and push down. And you're probably gonna get just a little bit of wobbling side to side for a second there. Just keep on pushing down. You might have to move it just a little laterally to get it to pop into place. Once you do, it should be straight. Well, you can tell that's straight. And then you know you're good. Otherwise, something could happen. Your on-off switch could move out of place, or if the sensor, or the lens rather, disconnects from the sensor, it'll pop out and then you'll be messed up. Just, take it out, put it back on. Your screw holes are here and here. I just have tape on the battery because it'll flail around otherwise. I originally 3D printed a piece, but I mean, it'll, you know, add on, call it 3 to 5 grams or something just to hold it in place, and it wasn't really that good. So I just tape it down and it's fine. So then, easy enough, take this, tilt it down, pull it back a little. Should align fairly easily, and then just check your clicks. Oh, duh, I forgot. The side buttons aren't working, so you have to throw these little printed side pieces on the side buttons. You want the back and the front side button. Once they're on, make sure they're as down as they go and as in as they go. Cool. So now it's all flush and everything. And the DPI button's not going to work because we cut that, obviously, and that doesn't line up. So then the last thing is just drop that screw hole back here, or that screw into the screw hole, rather. And screw that into place. You don't need it like mega tight. Basically just has to reach up to that screw hole. And I'm trying to pull it apart right now, but it's not because of the screw, so we're good there. And there you go. Got your wireless Model D. I don't have my scale around here, but I think it's at like 83 grams.